I'll start the video by asking you a question. Are we doing enough? Now I'll ask you, what are we doing enough or not about? Do you know how history has shown us that rights for everybody is important? Equal rights. We've been talking about it. We've learned about it. We've lived with it. We've created campaigns with it. We've created advertising, marketing campaigns with it. And throughout history, there's one particular issue that has always been made a topic, a discussion, a debate, even TV shows of, or movies of, or documentaries and books of. But I don't think there's any real solution or intent to create a solution in so long a period that I have seen. And recently I was asked by an event that is being held called Corporate Diva, and I was asked to join them, and it is the next weekend. And I thought, let me do some research. And it is about showing equality towards the rights of women. And when I started doing my research, I was shocked to understand that while the numbers speak of one thing, the facts speak of something else altogether. So we have, for every 108,000 males in the world, we have 100,000 women. But when you look at the disparity of women and women participation at work or in business or in entrepreneurship, it's amazingly unacceptable. The number of women working in the workplaces around the world, developed countries or underdeveloped countries, is shockingly low. The number of women that represent on boards of companies in listed markets is shockingly low. The number of women that are given chances and opportunities to be entrepreneurs is very low. I'm a lecturer. I give workshops and talks on entrepreneurship, and I can assure you that every time I've gone to a place where there were like hundreds of entrepreneurs, the number of female participation in that event will be less than 10% every time. And now I'm wondering why. Why? Because sometimes when things hit you home, you kind of understand them better. So I'm a father of two girls, and I'm thinking my girls are very, very talented. My girls are pretty sharp. They can compete with the best boys or men in this world. Why shouldn't they get equal opportunity just like the boys do, just like the men do? Why is it that the representation of women in the workplace is so low? And it's very clear that this is all because we men have decided to call this our game. We men have decided to behave the alpha males that we are, and our egos larger than life. And we've stopped these talented women from becoming some of the biggest leaders and best performing executives in the world. And I think that has to change. And this will only change if we take action, not if we just talk about this. I think there are enough developed economies in the world that can set this into motion and let the other economies who are emerging or underdeveloped follow them. But someone has to make a change. The change has to come with policies, with legislation. I want to see elections being fought on this. There are lots of minority groups that seem to get a lot of attention. Okay, so every time you hear of the LGBT community, or you hear of Black Lives Matters, and yesterday was another Premier League game in England, and before the game, every player has to take a knee and for something like a minute to recognize that Black Lives Matter and say no to racism. But guess what? One of the largest minority in the world, women, do not get such recognition in large sporting events with large brands of the world. And I think that is what needs to change. I think just like the players who take a knee while, recognizing Black Lives Matters or no to racism, why don't we men, before every major event, held our head in shame for a minute, to tell ourselves and the world that we're shamed with what we have done for the last few centuries against women. And that has to change. And this is the kind of recognition this issue has to have. It deserves a little bit more than what it gets. This issue does not need attention. It needs action. Like I said, I would like to see elections being won on this. I'd like to see corporates taking larger initiatives just like they did with CSR. This is a very big issue and this needs to change. Do you know that if we had more women participation, we would actually increase $28 trillion more to economy? It's not like we're going to do anybody a favor here. It's going to help all of us. I think it's important for men to welcome women in the workplace. It's important for men to give women more opportunities in the workplace, in the business environment. It's important for men to accept the fact that these are our equal partners. These are people who deserve respect and opportunity. So just like I started this video by saying, are we doing enough? So I'm going to ask all of you, are we doing enough? If we are not, I'd like all of you to give me suggestions on what can we do to change this. Don't give me hypothetical suggestions. Don't give me slogans. Give me real tangible policies, real tangible action that can be taken to change this situation. And hopefully together we can.